So in this week's assignment, I wanted to document a graphic organizer where I showed learners how to use the ultrasound machine. And so I thought in some sort of web-based format as well as in a lecture prior to going into the actual use of the machine that I would go through this sort of a layout and have this available to learners that they can pull up when they're going to use the ultrasound in real time. And so the key things that I would point out here in terms of any user using their ultrasound machine would be one, where's the power button and how do I turn it off? Emphasizing that keeping the machine plugged in is the best bang for your buck, but certainly where's the power button is a really important concept when you're trying to figure out how to use the ultrasound machine. Secondly, and this becomes even more important when we get into documentation, is patient info. So documenting a new patient in which we're performing an ultrasound on. So by clicking this button here, it allows you to enter information about the patient, the ultrasound modality you'll be using, who is doing this, when it was done, so that you can pull it up for later use. And we can also use that later in quality assurance. The next important button for learners is the probe select button, and that is here. And so what that does, it allows the learner to switch between the different probes that are present on the ultrasound. So if they're looking for an abscess superficially, they can use our more linear probe, or if they're looking for signs of hydronephrosis or a kidney stone, they can use the curvilinear probe. Next is the freeze unfreeze button, and that's important because a lot of learners have difficulty saying, well, the image isn't moving, it's not working, and it's because the computer or the ultrasound, and as you can see here, when lit up, is actually frozen. And so when this light is on, that means that the screen is frozen on the image that's present, and by clicking it, you can actually go back to live production. Next is depth, and this is really important in terms of optimizing your image. And so for learners, it would be a matter of saying, you can do multiple different ways of controlling depth, but the easiest is to use this bar right here, or this toggle, like a turn, like a wheel. And what it does is it allows you to just make your image look deeper or look less deep, depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking to place an IV, you certainly don't need as much depth on your probe, but if you're looking at the kidneys, optimizing that image might mean adding more depth. And then lastly is your gain. And I think that there's two different ways that you can do the gain. Again, using these here kind of adjust gain at different levels of your image, but using here adjust gain of the entire image. And you can actually click on this auto button to optimize your image fully. And so I think that in terms of how do I use the ultrasound, those are the 6 buttons on an otherwise pretty button heavy machine, or I guess you could say that there's a lot of cognitive load when you kind of look at this as an entire machine, but looking at these 6 buttons are really all that a learner would need to optimally use the ultrasound.